Okay, so everyone, welcome to the show today. We have a very special guest. I mean, the guest who's not only the vice president for Royal LePage Signature, but at the same time, you can call him an authority in pre-construction. So please help me welcome Jeff Lyda.
Thank you very much, Raj. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for taking your time. I know you're very busy from your schedule. Thank you, but totally appreciate it.
My pleasure. This is exciting.
So, Jeff, so you are an authority when it comes to the in the pre-construction world.
Thank you.
So, why don't we start something about a little bit like a history of pre-construction? Let's say 5 to 10 years back.
Sure.
How it was and where it evolved to, and then moving forward we go the present and the future. How does that look like?
Yeah, I like it. That's great. So the purchasing and interest in new construction real estate has really exploded over probably the last 10 to 15 years, where it's been a great avenue to enter either the investment or end user in terms of real estate. You get to buy brand new, whether it be a condominium, home, whatever it might be, a high rise, low rise. And so what's exciting is you get to pick all your own finishes, and there's what's even more attractive really is what attracts a lot of people to the purchase and investment in new construction is the deposit structure. So you don't have to come up with that 20% down payment right up front. And they've always done it, or they, meaning the developers, the way they encourage you to purchase. It's almost a forced savings plan, where you put a certain percentage down over the construction life cycle of the project. Right. So if the project takes 3 to 5 years to build, there'll be installment payments throughout that process, and so you don't have to have that one big check right at the beginning. You're putting 5 to 10% down over so many years.
Right, and I think this is a big challenge with pretty much everyone today's. I mean, coming with a 20% down, especially when it comes to investing, or even a first-time home buyer. Of course, they don't have the money to. I mean, unless they come back with a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So definitely, that's a great strategy. So over the period of time, we have seen. I mean, the downtown Toronto.
It's really changed. It used to be, right? Good point. So I mean, it used to be where you bought new construction, and then over that construction life cycle, the value of the property would catch up to where the resale market is.
Right.
And so you're essentially buying at a lower value than you would the resale market. Well, that has shifted completely. Right, so now new construction, the cost of materials, the labor costs, all these things have gone up, and so now you're buying future values. So when you buy new construction, you're buying now at a price point where you're hoping the resale market will catch up to to what you purchased your new construction property for.
Right. So now in today's market, so if you say, what's the pace? A lot of people saying here market is shifting, and sometimes the mortgage interest rates are higher, and sometimes the market, like house prices are crazy. So in the current, if you stay, what's the pace of, when I say pace, like how many, like a rough an estimate, how many projects comes in a year, and what does the total number look like? And I'm just talking with just in a Toronto or maybe GTA.
GTA, probably like call it Southern Ontario.
Southern Ontario, sure.
If you can imagine, in the first half of this year, we participated in, as a company, in over 70 different new project launches. 70. So that's not all of them. Right, sure. So there was more. It could have been. It's probably more than 100 new projects. But you're looking at small communities, vacation destinations, things like that, where they're building new homes, things like that as well. So we participate in some, but not all, depending how far
we can go.
Exactly. Okay. There is a limit.
So 70 in just the first half.
70 in the first half of the year.
Okay, and what is an anticipation by end of 2022?
We will near, as a company, 100 projects that we'll participate.
100 projects.
100 projects that we will be involved with in some capacity in the sale process.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot. So out of that, when you're dealing with like 100 projects in a year, what would you say? I mean, those who use as a pre-construction as an investment strategy.
Yes.
I mean, is there any data? Do we have, how many people are generally investors and generally how many are end users?
Great question. I would say it's probably 70, 30, 80, 20, with the higher number being more investor driven. And strictly because real estate is such a tangible asset, right? It is something you can go and touch and feel, you can see it,
right?
Where it's a sense of security, where instead of putting a large sums of money maybe into the stock market where you can't necessarily feel that business and have any kind of control whatsoever. Yeah, I don't totally understand it either, right? So I find myself, interested in real estate because it is an asset that you can touch. And in terms of the risk capacity that's involved with real estate, it's, in our opinion, because we know it so well, we feel that there's a lot less risk involved. So as long as, especially in new construction, and if you view real estate as what they call a long-term play,
sure.
meaning you're going to own it for a long, long time, it eliminates a whole lot of risk. In regards to your purchase, because inevitably you can see there's charts. We have lots of charts and graphs that Neeraj can share with you, right? Where it shows you, the 30-year average. Homes have appreciated on average over the last 30 years, including the ups and downs and everything else that our market has gone through. On average, per year, it's approximately 7%.
7%.
So you're almost, as long as you hang on to the project or piece of real estate for a long time, your average appreciation will be 7% a year.
So is that 7% appreciation is like equally for the resale as well as for the pre-construction?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
So which means it's compounding. Am I right on that?
It is. That's correct.
So if somebody, let's say, project is going to finish in 4 years,
now you're buying future value. Don't forget. So value. when you it's not when you buy it, it's on new construction site. It'll be when you take possession, when you take real ownership, when you can register that mortgage.
Right.
That's when the appreciation will start.
Appreciation will start. Okay. So now people also buy properties and they buy multiple properties. Multiple projects in a year.
Yes.
People buy like 2 units, 5 units. Some people buy 10 to 15 units.
Yes.
Is there any magic number you always recommend? A safe, it's always remain in the market? So
the only thing I would say, look, if you have the ability to afford 15 to 20 units, I wouldn't buy them all in one building. Right. I would spread it. It's like diversifying your risk.
Sure.
Right. So you're going to buy maybe some in one side of the GTA. You'll buy some on the other side, and maybe some right in the core of the city. So you diversify your portfolio into different markets across the city, because what we've learned very recently, there are some markets that appreciate faster than others.
Sure.
And things that tend to appreciate too quickly tend to correct a little faster.
So as well.
If you work yourself out and balance your investments out, obviously you eliminate a lot of risk that way.
Okay. So let's say if I'm a new investor, I'm thinking about buying a project. Is there any, we'll say, few things I should look into it when I'm analyzing a project? So when I'm talking from the location perspective.
Of course.
Is there a few things we should be watchful for?
Definitely. I think whether right from the center of the city, the further far, in the GTA perspective, if you buy in the center of the city, you are going to pay more on a cost per square foot basis.
Okay.
Right. So you're going to pay more on a price per square foot in downtown Toronto than you would the further you get out. Yeah. Right. The further far you get out. So it really becomes down to affordability and finding those little great. I don't want to call it sleeper communities, because there aren't too many of those. No, but you can find these great communities in great locations where there's some great upside.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just important of understanding and being in the market. Whether you're just dipping your toe in the water and thinking about investing, you don't want to take a full step back and kind of look from the outside. You want to get right in and understand each and every development that comes along that you're able to put in front of your clients. So you'd say, when they see one that really speaks to them and speaks to you too, to say, this location, second to none, and there's going to be a lot of cases in Durham region. There's a new GO line is going in. They're expanding it further afar. If you can say, there's going to be a brand new GO station, a 2-minute walk from this new condominium, you can say, yeah, that speaks to me, because transportation, education facilities, universities, colleges, things like that play a major role in when it comes to evaluating this type of product.
Of course. Okay. So now another thing is, a lot of people have another question. There are so many tower cranes in Toronto.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I say Toronto, it's a GTA.
Yes.
Mississauga, one metropolitan. I mean, how many condos they can build. But at the same time, when they're looking at the prices in the condo,
Yes.
I mean, these are also not cheap if you compare 10 years ago.
Of course.
It's not there.
Well, again, that's appreciation, right?
It is that appreciation.
Yes.
So now when we compare
And inflation.
and sure, okay. So if we're comparing GTA
Yes.
as compared to the other major North American cities,
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people still think, oh man, this is so expensive. How gonna people buy? Now, is there any sort of a comparison we have when we comparing Toronto with, let's say, with New York, or maybe Chicago, or maybe with other cities? Now, are we still very reasonably priced, or is it a...
That's a great question. You know, in these, a lot of these cities, well, cities like New York and Manhattan proper, you know, prices there are $3,000 to $4,000 a foot in a lot of cases. Now, Toronto is slowly catching up to that mark, of course, but, and it's really, you hear this comment a lot, immigration is larger than ever. You've got to, if you're coming to Canada or new to Canada, you've got to have some shekels in your pocket, and you have to be able to invest that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of new Canadians are investing in real estate strictly because of the security of it. And Toronto, generally speaking, the GTA, is where the majority of people want to live. I mean, there's great opportunity, right, in terms of jobs and education. It's all right here at your doorstep, and it's a leader on the, not in North America, but on the planet when it comes to a lot of these things. So why would you want? I'm a little biased, right? Can you tell? But why would you want to live anywhere else,
course,
right?
Absolutely.
But there's just so much opportunity here. So Canada, Toronto, and the GTA is growing by 100,000 people a year. And quite frankly, there's not enough real estate.
Right.
There's not enough roofs to support the number of people that are choosing to hang their hat here in the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
So, and hence why homes have appreciated as fast as they have, whether it be a detached, semi, townhome, or a condominium. They're all appreciating at a fairly steady pace. I mean, obviously things have shifted recently in a marketplace based on very obviously being very interest rate driven. But again, in time, things will continue to adjust with the sheer fact that more and more people want to live here.
Sure. Okay. So now, obviously, my next question will be like related with says more and more people want to live here. So when we're looking at the future growth of
Yes.
GTA, so I know, I mean, as a company, I guess Royal LePage Signature will participate anything between Hamilton to maybe Prince Edward County, I think, if I remember.
Yes, yeah. In terms of new Niagara Falls,
Niagara
St.
Falls.
Catharines.
So complete Horseshoe Bay plus we're
Yeah.
going in the.
We have an access to projects in Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, all across the country.
Okay, good. So when we're comparing, like, across the country, when we're expanding of GTA, which is our homegrown thing, I
Yes.
say, okay. So what are you saying? I mean, how many more projects and how many more years continue to go like that, 100 projects a year or stuff like that?
Great question. I mean, if you think about it, Toronto, just by the sheer number, based on the amount of material these developers can acquire to build these projects, and the labor force, Toronto, the GTA can really only deliver 30,000 new homes a year.
Wow.
And it sounds like a lot. Well, 30,000 is a lot.
Well, it's just 100,000 people are
But
coming.
exactly, we've got a 70,000 person shortfall.
Shortfall.
So this is the issue, right? It's not enough, and hence why there's so much pressure on pricing.
Right.
And even though interest rates have risen and prices have started to, they're not appreciating nearly as fast as they have been in the very recent past. But it's the sheer demand and the sheer need for housing. And this is where you're going to see a big shift of people moving into multifamily livings, where it's these condominiums, having a family living in a condominium.
Right, okay. Well, so I know in our audience, few people are still thinking, or they're probably at the verge of, hey, do you want to start something, or they're still contemplating, is it the right time now? Now, let's say if I am a brand new investor thinking,
Yes.
what suggestion would you give it to me moving forward? I mean, I know I'm fearful, but at the same time, I am a little bit enthusiastic too.
Sure.
Plus, I want to get my feet wet in there too. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, all the emotions are going on in my
Yeah,
mind.
of course.
So, what would you recommend me? Like, what should I do and where should I start?
Great question. So if you have the means, I'd start by looking at resale.
Okay.
I know this is really meant to be geared towards a new construction, but if you have the ability to put 20 to 25% down, you can get, you can put a tenant in there into your investment right away.
Okay.
Very smart smart people, economists, have spoken recently on the rental market. They're saying the rental market will not cool off anytime soon. You're only going to see rents continue to go up over the next 3 years,
Right.
just by the sheer fact that we do not have enough housing.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that affordability is being an issue with rates increasing. You hear this: people don't buy the price of the home; they buy the monthly payment.
Affordability.
Right,
Yeah,
affordability,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So in that case, people, if they can't say necessarily afford a home right now, they're going to continue to save. So what are they going to do? They're going to rent.
Yeah.
So with the sheer demand on rent and with the value of real estate being where it is in the GTA, the demand for real estate will continue. So if you have some liquid cash sitting around, you have the ability to put that 20 to even up to 30% down.
Sure.
That's resale is the way to look. But if you're looking for another opportunity, say I don't have that kind of cash right now, but I will in the next year or two, then new construction is a fantastic way to go, because you can really get in early. The deposit structures are really exciting right now. Developers are getting even more creative with their deposit structures, stretching them out even longer with a lower down payment.
Right.
And they're putting, a lot of development charges that are the responsibility of the purchaser. The developer's looking after those costs now. So it's quite interesting.
Quite interesting. So, in other words, you're telling me if I'm an investor today, if I start doing it, I'm not going to lose my shirt. I'm going to lose my hair, right? I'll be slow.
Oh my gosh, what's going to happen, right? But I think, again, as long as you're in it for the long term.
Long term.
If any time where you have to sell, you feel that pressure, you have to sell, that's when there's just the risk level goes way up.
Right, yeah. So yeah, real estate is not a day trading, it's not a crypto.
It is not
It's
crypto.
tangible.
I like that analogy.
It's tangible.
You can touch it and feel it, obviously, and
Sure.
and as long as you're in it for that long-term gain,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
Okay.
It's the problem I think a lot of people have with sometimes, it's not sexy. It's not gonna like double in value in a matter of days. That's not cool.
Right.
Well, it just looking at something that could double in value in a couple of days. Look at double the other
Go
way.
down also.
It could go to zero very quickly in a couple
Yeah.
of days, right? So the
Yeah.
risk in that is just so massive. So where you look at real estate, again, the risk level is so low, and hence the interest in it, and hence why values have continued to go up over the last number of years.
Great, fantastic. Thank you very much, Josh. Truly appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Great
I mean,
questions today. Amazing. Keeping
but
me on my
hopefully
toes.
this will help some of
I
the
hope so.
people who's
I
in
hope
the
so.
audience. They'll be able to. But thank you very much. Truly appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank
It's
you.
great being here.
Thank you very
Thank you very much.